Now let's talk about scanner. So scanner is defined in java.util class. So obviously you'll have to import this package when you are using scanner in your class. Now, talking about scanner, scanner needs an input stream. So we have seen till now in buffered reader also that so we need to attach buffered reader to a particular input stream so that whatever data is going in that input stream, we read from that particular data. We read from that particular stream. So we have seen till now that system.in is a input stream. It's a byte input stream. So we create an object scanner sc. We attach this input stream to this particular object. So now what happens in case of scanner is we have several methods. We have different method for taking input as integer, taking input as a float, double, and things like that. Let's see few of them. So you will get them very easily. So let's say I have to take input as integer from the user. So we simply do sc, which is this particular object. So obviously we have to use object in this case. If it's not static, we have to use object in this case to call this method. So we do sc.nextInt. So if the user inputs 4, this 4 is assigned to n. And another we have is sc.nextLine. So let's say we have to just input the complete line. So in that case, we can simply do sc.nextLine. So let's say you have to input float. So we can do sc.nextFloat. For boolean, we can do sc.nextBoolean. For long, we can do sc.next long int. For let's say double, we can do sc.next double. Okay, so we have several methods. When you are writing the code based on what kind of data type you are using, you can use from one of these methods. Now we have seen how to take input from the scanner, how to take input from the buffered reader. In both the cases, we attach the object to a particular input stream. In case of buffered reader, since buffered reader only accepts character stream, we first have to convert the byte stream that is coming from system.in to a character stream. So now we have seen both the methods. Now the question is when to use which particular method, or when to use scanner or when to use buffered reader. So let's see few differences between. So now let's see the difference between buffered reader and scanner. So these are the 4 points based on which we will see the difference. So the number 1 is the parsing input. Buffered reader does not parse the input, or it does not format the input. It just whatever is read by the buffered reader, it just gives to the particular program. If let's say user inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, the buffered reader won't bother that this is an integer or this is a float or anything. So it just gives the string to the program. Whatsoever input you give, it won't bother, it will just give the string to the program. Whereas in case of scanner, some sort of parsing happens, formatting happens. So if you have to give to 1, 2, 3, 4 and you have to take this as an integer, the scanner will convert this into an integer and give it to you. Whereas in case of buffered reader, you will take this as a string and then do the conversion from your side in your particular program. Whereas scanner does this for you, so you don't have to bother about it. Similarly for the float, you can do the same thing. If you are putting it this using buffered reader, it will again give you a string. You have to format it. Similarly here, you just do next float. So the scanner knows that this guy is looking for float. So it will give you the input in the type of float. One thing to note about scanner is, so let's say you do something like this. This you will face in your program a lot. You do something like next int n is equal to next int, and let's say you then have to take a string. So you do string s equal to sc.next line. So now what happens in this case is, let's say you put 4 as an input, this goes for n. But after 4, when you give the new line to go into the new line, obviously when you press new line, then this sc.next line consumes that new line as an input. So what happens many a time is, let's say you do this, give this as next int, and let's say you give prep bytes for this particular input. Now when you try to print n and s, you will get n as the output, but in place of s you will get a blank space, you won't get anything. So what happens is that this 4 is taken care by next int, and when you print the new line, when you enter the new line, this s takes that new line as the input and s gets the new line. So when you print the value of n, 4 is printed, and the value of s, a new line is printed. So obviously new line means a blank line is printed. So what you have to do is, whenever you are using next line after any next int or next float or anything, make sure you use this twice, one for consuming the new line and another for consuming the input that you are giving. So this is one major difference between buffered reader and scanner. While you are writing a code where obviously you'll have to handle different primitive types, it is better to use scanner. Now thread safe. Talking about thread safe, buffered reader is synchronized, whereas scanner is not. So if you are writing a program which will require multiple threads to access your input and things like that, in that case you will have to use, or you should use, buffered reader. Talking about buffer size, the buffer size of buffered reader is greater than that of scanner. So if it's 8 KB in size, for that scanner is just 1 KB. So if you think that you are going to write a program which will require huge input or large input, then in that case you should use buffer size. Again, talking about buffered reader, speed in case of buffered reader could be better because buffered reader is not performing any task of parsing or formatting. So this was the difference between buffered reader and scanner. One more thing to note about scanner is that generally what scanner does is, if you, let's say you have to take 4 integers to, so you do something like sc.nextInt, sc.nextInt again, for that matter let's say 2 integers, a equal to b equal to, and you in input you are giving, let's say 23 space 45. So by default the scanner takes space as the delimiter, which means after you have put space it will consume this for a and this for b. You can also change this delimiter. By default it is space, but you can change using sc.use delimiter. So let's say you want to use asterisk, so you can simply do that. So you can change the delimiter in case of scanner. Now we have seen how to take input from the user and in which particular condition we have to use what. Let's quickly see the output. So if you would have written even a single Java program, you would have definitely used output till now. So as you can see that console output is mostly accomplished by, easily accomplished by print and println, and these methods are defined by class print stream. So you guys must be wondering that if we have to use println, we use system.out.println. So what is this print stream doing? So this println is a method of class print stream, and we saw that we have system and then we have variable out. This out is of type print stream. So you can think of out as an object variable of type print stream. So we can simply use system.out.println, which is a method defined in class print stream, to do the printing. So println is generally used when we want the output in new line, and if we want it in same line we use print. So we can simply give our input. So if we just have to print something constant, we can or a string, we can simply write prep bytes. Else we can use plus to concatenate the constant strings and the variables. So let's say n is an integer. So like this, what will happen if let's say n is having value 6, so prep 6 will get printed on the screen. So that was about console output and input that is required by you to write a program in Java.